Hey guys, welcome back to yet another randomly timed episode of Filthy Builds, where I'm still not entirely sure what I'm doing, but I'm having a go. Top mounts on the forelink and some work on the bottom ones. I've been doing a bit of work on the truck over the last couple of days on the rear end. Doing a lot of time-lapse work. My wife's been out here working in the backyard on her project, which you can hear in the background. So the noise in the background you can hear, it sounds like a water leak. My wife's been out here. She's developed a thing for water features. But this is all her work. If you look back through the early videos, my backyard's a bit of shit, especially over there, but we won't look at that. So she's dug this up, put the rocks down, put the urn thing in there. There's a, if you're into this sort of thing, or if you're curious, if you look up aquascape, the videos online, there's all that stuff. There's a 400 litre sump thing that we've buried in there with a pump in it, so that's just constantly going, and there's lights and stuff, so looks pretty at night, but she's done an awesome job, so well done, mate. Thought I'd share that with you guys. So it's just gone 6 AM Monday morning. Been to the gym. That's really irrelevant, but if you don't mention it on some form of social media, did you actually go? Just waiting for a few more neighbours to wake up and the wife to wake up, and I'm gonna get into sorting the shed a little bit, getting that TIG welder set up, and load up some scrap on the Colorado at the front, go to the scrappy, and then get back into this. Excuse the mess in here. I've got two projects worth of crap lying around the place. This welder, bought it probably about 2 years ago after a recommendation from my good friend Dan with a turbocharged Centura over in Canberra. He put a few of his mates onto them, and we snapped them up, and they're on special. I think it was about half the price that they're going for at the moment, which is at the moment is considerable. But I fired that up for the first time since I've had it, and I've never ever used a MIG before. This is my temporary welding setup. It's pretty outstanding, I thought. So these are the brackets for the new brackets for the diff, and yeah, this is my first go with the welder. So that's no filler rod, 3/30 seconds, which is 2.4 mil tungsten, 100 amps. It's just basically a spacer and a bit of strength through the bracket. This side's not that flash, I might go over that again. But this side I'm quite happy with. So that's gonna go on there. And I've got a plate with holes for the shock mounting on the back to go on, which I want to have a go at tonight. And the front mounts, the cross member's not done, that's just sitting there, ignore that. The front mounts, apart from a little bit on the underside of that, which I'll do when the chassis is upside down, they're all done. So that's all 5mm plate. A couple of holes for adjusting the four-link bars. And the reason they've got a flat top on them here instead of just going straight down, that's going to be there'll be a tab coming off the side of it, and that's where one of the mounts for the tub floor will come down to, instead of going down to the chassis. And there'll be another one up here with clearance for the exhaust to come up over the rail here. The boys at Admo Fab are waiting on rod ends for the larger bars, both the truck and the coupe. When they come in, they can make me some bigger bars. With the change in bottom bracket there, that's these come vertical down, where the old mount that I cut off, if you go back through the videos, was out here somewhere. And I've taken the front off. I was going to use a 600mm long bar, which I'll put up top. I may use those to set up the bottom and have 4 600mm rods. I might go longer, I might go a little bit longer, I might go 700mm. The longer the bars, the better, the less pinion angle change there is through the travel of the suspension. So that's why I've got big 600mm long bars up the top there. So they're tacked on in place, those are tacked on the diff. Front end's all done. These are were the air ride suspension supplies brackets that were on the front. I've done a bit of modification there. I've narrowed them to suit the rod ends on the McDonald Brothers rod ends. These were made for like a universal one, which was about 20mm wider, so I've narrowed them, made the bracket narrower. This one still needs some work. They're all welded up. Just did that with a MIG. Added some on the inside. And I've also shortened the bracket because they had a big hole that's a 14mm or a 9/16mm hole. And I think there were 5/8 holes in these brackets, which were too big. And I could have left them, but I didn't want to make bushes and spaces and that sort of thing and try and do something with those holes, so I've just remade them. So they'll be probably a little bit further forward, and I'm going to put a bigger fish plate along here than that little one that was on there. And that'll come up and onto here a little bit and tie the whole lot in, and probably come back a little bit further to tie the rails in a little bit better. But as soon as these brackets are welded on, I don't need the bars to weld those on. I just need time. Hopefully I'll get those done tonight. I just had to shoot out and get some filler rod. I'll get those on, and then next time I'm home I can pull the diff out and run that down to AdmoFab. And to add to the workload on this thing, not that there's a huge amount, but the height this thing's going to be sitting at, I've been thinking about that. I do a lot of thinking at work because I've got a lot of time on my hands while I'm on the machines. I should be thinking about work. I'm thinking about this. I am thinking about work at the same time. But the height from the bottom of the doors, the sill, to the bottom of the chassis rail is still a bit excessive for what I like, for what I want. The cross member's still the lowest point, so I can't really do much about that. I did think about taking a bit off the bottom of the rail, like narrowing the rails up a little bit, but I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to have a go at lowering the cab mounts on this. So I've got about 25mm an inch with new body rubbers on there. The lowest point of the floor to the chassis is about 25mm to an inch. So adding to the list, I'm going to drop these mounts down about an inch and close that gap up. It's not a huge amount, but it's going to make a difference. And when you think of the guard sitting down over the wheel another inch down, I think it'll be worth it, and it's not too big a job. Bit of firewall mods and that sort of thing. So we'll add that to the list. But for now, I really want to get this back in wrapped up, and then we can take the diff out, get the diff welded, the floaters on. Oh, the floaters. So I've been too busy wrapped up in diff brackets to remember that these came in. These are the race products, obviously. The floaters for the ends of the diff. Obviously that's what the wheel bolts to. I have to be careful with this, it's a big bit of gear. So once that shiny bit's machined down, that slots into the housing and is welded on. Diff bolts on there with all the brakes and everything. And what this allows is, this is splined inside here. So spline in there, that's welded to the housing. If you break an axle, the axle stays in the housing. This is still mounted to the diff, the wheel flange. So if you break an axle, the wheel doesn't come off. It's exactly the same as what's on the coupe, except this is a Race Products one, where the other one's a locally made one. As in Adelaide, that's a Rodtech one. This is a very, very nice piece of gear. I'm stoked with that. It's overkill for the truck. It's 35 spline. That's a Race Products part that was supplied through AdmoFab, Adelaide Motorsport Fabrication. If you're in Adelaide or anywhere else really, and you require Race Products parts, hit those guys up, AdmoFab, Adelaide Motorsport Fabrication, and they'll sort you out. But yeah, when the diff goes down to AdmoFab that have brackets and everything on, they'll put the floaters on, and when it comes back, I can put the bars on, take the diff off the brackets that it's sitting onto the welded to the chest, the frame table, and we can chuck the bags in there and move the diff up and down, which will be huge for me. So apologies for the randomly timed video and sporadic videos, and not a huge amount of work going on the trucker project, the progress on the project. I've got a bit going on, so things falling over, and yeah, I'm getting there slowly, but stoked to finally have fired up the welder. I was kind of a bit nervous about how I'd go with that, but I love it, so I'm going to do as much of that as I can. And I'm going to go over that cross member again, tidy up, put some welds across that, see how it goes. And I'll be using that for a lot of stuff if I can get the welds right. But thanks for watching. Hopefully the next one will be a bit better, a bit more information, a bit more work going on. And yeah, I'll catch you then. Cheers.